Good morning, and you're really welcome to the Energy Update podcast. And today we have a really special guest. We have two special guests. We have my husband, David Millard. Oops, I just bashed his little machine, which we'll probably talk about. And also Irene Tracy, who is a Parkinson's coach. And Davy has Parkinson's. And as you know, I'm a Qi Gong teacher and Shiatsu practitioner. So today we're going to be talking about living well with Parkinson's. How can you find your flow? Because once you've been diagnosed with a condition that's really unlikely to get any better, how do you manage that? Physically, emotionally, mentally? Kind of changes everything up. And also it changes the people around you and the relationships that you have, this different way. So I'm going to launch straight in introducing Irene Tracy, the Parkinson's coach, also working with Smoothie, which I'm sure she'll show you later on. And I want to ask you, Irene, what are the most powerful tools and practices that you use as a Parkinson's coach to help with rigidity, the physical aspects, the freezing, the tremors? What are the best practices and tools that you use?
Okay, thank you so much for inviting me onto this show. Really appreciate it. The tools that I would use would absolutely be Smoothie for the physical side of it, and I'll go into a bit more of Smoothie later. However, the most important thing that I really see over my 10 years of working with people with Parkinson's is the breath work. I really, really see that when people connect with the breath work, it helps overall. It helps really reduce your anxiety. And when you reduce your anxiety, then you can reduce your tremors. And your breath work can also help relieve pain and stiffness. And yeah, the breath work really, for me, is the most important. You probably would notice that. I know you're big into breathwork yourself, so I'm sure you'd agree with that.
Davy, where do you use breathwork? Because I know breathwork sounds kind of such a big over the top. Can sometimes be Wim Hof. Oh my God, I've got to go in ice. I've got to do all this mad breathing. But really, the breathwork can be very simple. Do you want to share anything that you do?
I mean, breathwork for me, it has that two aspects. It has the energizing breathwork, which is the Wim Hof style of excessive breathing. And the breathing I normally do would be like something, a calming breath. Mm-hmm. So like, breathe in for 4, hold for 6, out for 8, that kind of way. What do you understand by breathwork? It's such a huge subject.
Yes, indeed. And there is many different versions of it. And I really didn't realize until I did my yoga teacher training 7 years ago, the importance of breath work and that there is so many different ways, because I was very much, what was I then, 43, 44, I'm able to breathe, thank you, but not realizing, the importance of it. So the real key differences would be to relax you, to help regulate your nervous system, and also then to energize you, as you said, like with the Wim Hof. What I always recommend to my clients is to do different breath works throughout the day. So always the physiological sigh, which is 2 deep inhales through the nose and a full exhale through the mouth. And what that does then, it releases the tension from your system first thing in the morning and then throughout the day. So if you do it first thing when you wake up, then at breakfast, lunch and dinner, just get into the habit of that. So I'll just demonstrate that for you now. So it's just first deep inhale, and then what you don't get, go again to get as much as you can. So getting everything out, all your old oxygen, getting all that out, bring it in all new. That would always start with. And then bringing the awareness to the importance of breathing properly anyway. So many people, we just breathe through our mouths. And when you're breathing through your mouth, you're not getting enough oxygen to your brain and working all your respiratory system to the best of its advantage. You're not working your diaphragm enough, which works your lymphatic system. It all intertwines and goes on. So when we learn to breathe through our nose, so your balanced breath, breathing in and out for 4. By doing that throughout the day and bring it into your natural breath, it really helps just to slow you down, just to bring clarity and confidence to our bodies.
Absolutely. There's a practice we do in Qigong, and it's one of the foundation core practices. So to see whether you're breathing correctly, place one hand over your chest and one hand over your belly. And as you inhale, which hand moves? Which hand moves? So as you inhale, your lower hand over your belly button should move. And as you exhale, you're going to squeeze your belly button, which is a CV6, conception vessel 6 point, and squeeze it right back to your spine. Squeeze, 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 and then relax. And then squeeze out. Take the belly button back to the spine, squeeze it out, and relax. And then Davy and I have just formatting a book. We've written a book together. And in this book, we cover wave breathing. So how to take that breath from the belly up to the chest and then concaving the chest. Like you say, squeezing everything out. Because this idea that we have to kind of breathe up here sets off that nervous system, which is already fight or flight, because we think we have to kind of escape somewhere. So if we can squeeze it all out, and then naturally the breath just comes back in just very naturally. So that's breath.
Well, also with the breath, with the exercise that we do with the Qigong, it's all linked to the breath. It's all linked. I mean, the whole thing is together. It's not just like, oh, I'm doing some breath work, now I'm doing some Qigong, now I'm living. It's all one big holistic
So
practice.
talking of Qigong, because I know you do that on a daily basis, what else do you do on a daily basis?
Get to bed early.
Get to bed early.
Get to bed early.
Important.
So important.
Yeah.
Because I am very tired during the day. I don't know if that's Parkinson's or if that's just me. But getting to bed early, for me, getting a good 7 or 8 hours sleep is just essential for me.
And like that, one of the things I remember at the very beginning of your diagnosis that really was tricky for you was sleep. And I can share that you kind of ended up in hospital because of lack of sleep. You know, so the sleep, how to actually get to sleep. I know what you have done. You've done lots of different things for your sleep practice. Do you want to share some of those?
Well, the last thing I do at night before getting into bed is I come outside onto the patio and I do a few Qigong moves. Normally it's just connecting heaven with earth, you know, and just
So there's expanding up, hitting the
light
lampshade.
bulb. And I'll do 3 or 5 or 7 or how many I'm feeling. To me, that's like just calming down. I'm heading for bed. And then when I'm lying down trying to go to sleep, it's more a case of like not trying to, I must sleep. I've got to get my 7 hours in because I've got to go up at 6 or something, whatever it is. It's just more, it's that calming again. So it's not really breath work. It's just calming my mind. And I calm my mind normally with gratitude.
Do you want to say a bit more about that gratitude practice?
Well, I find one thing I'm grateful to myself for doing that day, the best thing I've ever done that day. So be it driving the car back from New Ross the other day was like, I did that. I did really, really well. And then I'll think about 3 people I've met that day or talked to on the phone or seen who I'm grateful to. And normally by the time I get to number 2, I'm asleep. I go into the whole minutiae of that person that I've met. So say like tonight it might be you, Irene. I'll be thinking about how grateful I am to you for all that you've helped me with. And maybe it might be how you look, what you're wearing, what you were saying. And I think, and then it's morning time normally. Then
And how about you, Irene? I know in Irena, and I've been so difficult to try and get back to Irene. So, Irene, what about you and sleep? What do you recommend for any practices for sleep?
Sure, yes. And I love that. And I'm going to take up that to bring the heaven and earth before you go to bed. That is so gorgeous. I'm definitely going to bring that in. And just one thing, Davy, a lot of my coaching is in around neurolinguistic programming. So bringing your thoughts, bringing your life from where you are to where you want to be. And language is such an important part of that. And I just noticed, Davy, you said, when I try to go to sleep. So just say when I go to sleep or when I'm going to sleep, because there's a thing with try that it's not definite.
Doing,
Yeah, so just little thought patterns like that actually make a big difference over time, and you're just, doing it, bringing it into your life. So what do I recommend for sleep? Well, sleep is absolutely such an essential part of healing, but even just living, to live a healthy life is such an essential part, and we do need the 8 hours. So recommended to go to bed at 10 o'clock, 9:30, 10 o'clock, to work in harmony with our circadian rhythm for the 8 hours, to not have any caffeine or anything after 3 or 4 o'clock, to not have any screens or LED lights, anything like that after 8 o'clock, to perhaps read in bed. Don't bring your phone into the room or any laptop, because we have the Wi-Fi disturbing our electromagnetic field. Shut out blinds. A lot of people need the dark light. To have your room neat and tidy, and certainly if you have to get up during the night, that you've no wires or carpet in the way, so no danger of any falls. To not eat after 7 o'clock, after 6 o'clock really, because our brain is connected to our gut through the vagus nerve, and if we are eating late, it's taken away from healing our brain while we're sleeping. And also it's the disruption of the digestive system is going to keep us awake as well.
Yeah. Great tips.
Sounds like my life.
Yeah, sounds like your life. Great
oh, no doubt, Davy.
Yeah.
You are an example, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Qigong and the Chinese medicine, it is a complementary therapy piece. So we would never kind of recommend anybody coming off medications. It's really complementary. And for over a year, you took no medications.
A year and a half.
You took no medication, and that's fine.
Only because when I took the medication, I felt worse. So there's no point taking medication to feel worse.
Absolutely.
But then now I take a very small amount, because what was happening, about a year and a half, I didn't take any meds. And I found that my mood was not very good. I was kind of cross and cranky. And I didn't like that very much.
So that's the next thing I want to talk about, because really when you're given this diagnosis of Parkinson's, and it's incurable. So I want to talk about that kind of like emotional aspect on how that influences day-to-day living, and how to cope with the mental aspect of just feeling, under a diagnosis
this is it.
This is it. We all get into those depression modes at times where we go, is this it? But with Parkinson's, this is it. So I just wanted to kind of touch a little bit on, also, I know that you used to be really physically active. You were part of the Coast Guard rescue system. You, with your first wife, had like 18 horses that you used to muck out and ride. And now it's been a big challenge. You want to say a little bit about that and what helps with the challenge, with the mental challenge?
It helps when you don't want to do those things anymore. I know that sounds a bit crazy, really, but be like, I actually don't want to be in the Coast Guard anymore. I was there, that was then, and this is now. And what can I do now? Not that I couldn't do then, but what can I do now that I would rather be doing? So that to me at the moment, it's not Coast Guard. I mean, I'm still climbing mountains, trying to climb mountains. No, I am climbing mountains.
Yay!
I'm not trying at all. I may not get to the top anymore, but I'm still out for the day.
Yeah.
So it's just about cutting your cloth, I think, a little bit. So this is what I have. I can't yet make this Parkinson's go away. Even though if it went away in the morning, I would be delighted, I must admit. But it's just about doing what you can do, really, to stay fit and healthy.
And filling your life with the things, new things, the new wife,
The new wife.
the new wife that drags him off to Italy. So we're doing that for a month, and
It makes me drive the car again.
Yeah, makes me drive the car.
Towing trailers.
And what else is new? That
Meditation, like a more serious meditation, more serious spiritual practice I have since the diagnosis. Certainly wouldn't negate anybody's choices. I'm a lot more accepting of others as well as myself.
and Qigong, you took Qigong up.
Yeah, that was the first thing I did, actually, because I read somewhere, heard somewhere, thought somewhere that Qigong was going to cure my Parkinson's, and I was really kind of upset, really, the first couple of years of Qigong, that it hadn't cured my Parkinson's. But what it has done is kept me very physically fit and strong and healthy and mindful and thoughtful. So it's been
Yeah, because sometimes we
good
sit
journey.
together having a cup of tea and you'd be like, oh, my knee's hurting. And I'm like, is that Parkinson's or is that growing older? We all have different things we have to manage and live with. And it's just yours has more kind of physical impact, which then who are you now if you don't do those other things? So refinding your
Passion.
yourself and your passion every day. How about you, Irene? What would be your take on the changes that happen with this kind of I am, and I'm not that person anymore, I'm this person?
Yeah, a huge part of it is coming to terms with it and dealing with the emotional aspect of it. That is absolutely massive. I have coached a lady who has Parkinson's 14 years. And it was only when we started coaching did she realize that she just hadn't accepted it. So she was keeping all this anger in her body 14 years, so you can imagine the impact of that, releasing that. So she was bringing more to it than her body was even giving her. I remember coaching a gorgeous man who fought in the Vietnam War. And there's so much that Parkinson's also PTSD, so when he came to me, he said, so I'd offer a 6-week program. And normally for people who have been diagnosed, it's like, especially if you know nothing about it, it's like your world has just been turned upside down. The rug has been pulled from under you. So I offer a 6-week program, giving everything that you need to know. And if you want to go further into it, it's dealing with the emotions of it, because a lot of people are not ready to deal with the emotional trauma. When you just meet somebody first for the first 6 weeks, so you kind of get to know each other and the style, and then go into the 6 weeks. So I remember coaching this gorgeous man from America who fought in the Vietnam War. And so on the second week, we touch on emotions, and he was like, look, Irene, I don't want to go into the war, I just want to move on and get on with it. And like, he was 79, so I said to him, it's not that you have to go back into it, it's not bringing back old memories, but it's just releasing the trauma. And he was like, I don't want to do that. I said, that's okay. So as you know, Joe, we meet people where they are and help to bring them along at the pace. So then at the end of the 6 weeks, he said, right, I want to go on to do the next one. And I just said to him, Lyle, it's only going to be effective if you're open to the process of going into your emotional body. So he said, okay, he would do. And after the second week of that, our coaching call was on the Thursday, which was the 6th of July. And he said he was so excited getting on the call. He said that was the 1st of July since he was fought in the Vietnam War that he slept. He said every other 4th of July, because it was trauma for him, he was bringing it all back, and every 4th of July, and it was the first one he slept through. So he said, right, let my emotions out. He really, because he didn't realize it. And, you know, a lot of men in particular don't deal with the emotional aspects of it. Women tend to talk even to our friends and release and share stuff, and that's dealing with it. Whereas men tend to bottle it up. And I see with my own clients, you know, especially, you know, the manly man who doesn't want to share his emotions and doesn't want to worry his wife and children. He'll just deal with it all himself. So when I start talking about the emotions, they're like, "Oh, go away, girl." But then, you know, bring it out. And the people who go with it do really get great results. And some are just not ready yet, and that's fine too.
Yeah, absolutely. I know in the course that we've got coming up, there's the healing sounds. And I know that you've worked a lot with the healing sounds.
I did that every day. Every night before bed.
And that was when you came out of hospital from the sleep. You weren't able to sleep. You used the healing sounds every night to just look. In Chinese medicine, we have each of the emotions is connected to a specific organ. And so we go around the organs of the body, just connecting in, feeling the emotions and using the sounds to release them. Sounds like a woo-woo practice, but...
it was more just, it could be called a woo-woo practice, but it's just that you are looking at your emotions in a very dispassionate way. So it's not as if you're looking into your heart for love or anger.
Bitterness and resentment.
I can't even remember. I did it every day for 9 months. But it helped me at the time just to look at my emotions.
Yeah.
And then release them and just allow them to be released.
And using the Qigong moves and the sound at the same time, it's kind of like that whole thing. You have to do the physical with the emotional together. You can't separate. And that's why it's a holistic practice. So coming to the end now, I want to ask you both, what is your non-negotiable? What is the thing that you wake up and do in the first hour of the day that is absolutely non-negotiable? You know, we all have one. It's kind of cleaning our teeth, really. Look. What's your non-negotiable there, Irene?
My non-negotiable is this movie for myself.
Do you want to show it again?
My clients. You know, like, so I started working with these over 10 years ago, not over 10 years ago, nearly 10 years ago, 10 years in 2 months. And I didn't realize, so they were invented by a man who has Parkinson. So not to do a big plug here, like, but, you know, so that's how I got into it. They were invented by a man with Parkinson's, and through the jigs and the reels, long story, I've been working with these 10 years, and I didn't even realize myself the improvements that it was working with my nervous system, because I didn't understand the nervous system at the time. And when I started working with these, then I went on to do a massage therapist to learn more about the body, and then I did Parkinson's training and massage, then a yoga teacher, life coach, meditation teacher, neuro coach, and all this, and studied kinesiology. And it's all bringing it all back to the energy. Like, I never knew that we're an energetic beings. I did not realize that. And I think when you get that, when you connect in that we're all vibrating at different frequencies, and that our emotions can lift our frequencies or reduce our frequencies, we understand all of that. So I connect into these every single day. And I do a 21-day challenge every morning at 7:30. And I do that for as much for me, so I can discipline myself, because I will do stuff for other people before I'll do it for myself. So when I have to do this, get up and do it 7:30 every morning and 10 o'clock on a Saturday and Sunday. So this is my non-negotiable. And I do bring breath work into it. And one of the other things that I would really say to bring your awareness is to reduce stress wherever you can in your life. Just reduce stress. That is like the biggest thing, you know. And we can all get stressed over things and not even realize it on a subconscious level. And we can be triggered by different things and different people. So if your neighbor's coming in next door annoying you every day, just say, listen, love, whatever you can do to get out of that, you know, or whatever is upsetting you, come into your own nervous system, connect to your own body, to your own soul, and realize that you're in control of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to ask Davy now the same question. What's your non-negotiable in the morning?
The one thing I do every single day would be a cup of warm water first thing. Get up, put the kettle on, think about the day, get the hot water, go back to bed, drink hot water in bed. And it just absolutely just sets up my digestive system and relaxes me.
Yeah, because one of the big things with Parkinson's can be constipation because of the side effects of the medication. So that one morning hot water for both of us is really, really good for the large intestine. And for me, the same question is my Qi Gong. It really is about kind of pointing your boat in the right direction for the day. I mean, if you have a boat and you're trying to get to the other side, you've got lots of currents in the day that will move you around. And, there will be lots of different things that kind of come to the boat every single day, weather, the current, but you're still aiming for that point of the day. And you've set your point in the morning. You know where you're going. You felt how it feels to be integrated and wholesome in the morning. And that's where you're aiming for the rest of the day. So the Qigong with the breath work and the movement, and also the community, like your 21-day challenge. There's nothing better than a bit of community in the morning. Very often, I mean, I am guilty that with that cup of hot water, I'll be just checking my phone. And that I need to put that down and do the Qigong and feel the community rather than just the community on my social media. We can have a great community online, but there's still a real aspect to that. We can't curate what kind of comes in at the phone, but we can really curate our sense of purpose and our direction of mind. All right. I have really enjoyed talking to you both. Thank you very much for your time, Irene, and for your time as well, Davy. And I hope that has helped. If you have Parkinson's, that really the title of our new book is Finding Your Flow, Living Well with Parkinson's. And whatever you've got, I've got tricky teenagers, living well with tricky teenagers. Let's all find our flow. Thanks very much. And we will put all the links to Irene's work, Davy, and myself with this podcast.
And there's space for us all, isn't there?
There is space for us all.
Gosh.
There is space for us all.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Have a beautiful.
Really appreciate you. Thank you.
Peaceful day. Take it easy.
Bye-bye.